Good morning, everybody. It's me, Teri Hunter, here on Lotta's astrolotta.com, essentially, Astrolotta's YouTube channel. I'm starting a little early today. Good morning, Posted Ups. I've got a few announcements. First of all, Juan had his surgery successfully on Monday, and he is currently recuperating. So he will not be with us today. If indeed any of you would mind writing down your timestamp for your rising sign and putting it in the comments, that would be super helpful. I have readings this afternoon, so I won't be able to get to it in a timely fashion. And good morning, Sabrina. Good morning, Michaela. I'm not saying that right. Michaela. Good morning, CC Pups. Juan is okay. Yeah, that's terrific. On a little more challenging note, you guys, Small Wildflowers will not be able to be with us this morning either. Her beloved animal is in a very precarious place, facing liver failure, and she is just going through it. And I find that so interesting because we had a full moon in Virgo yesterday, and we know that the 6th house Virgo rules pets. So she is working to raise funds to help with whatever the processes are to help her pet either transition or to recover. So yes, if you could all send prayers to her. This just blew me away because Juan has a stellium in Virgo. And here we have Small Wildflowers experiencing this full moon in Virgo with her beloved 4-legged animal. So if we could just send good vibes to them and well wishes and angels to comfort and guide them during this challenging time. So, and you guys be patient with me as I have to manage on my own today, meaning, try to keep mindful of the chat as well as doing the readings. Thank you, Matthew. Izzy, welcome. Denise, welcome. Oh, you're a first timer. Thank you so much for coming. We're going to be doing what we do here, or what I do here on Lotta's channel, is I incorporate angels and astrology. And these readings are the angels' advice for traversing the upcoming transits. So we have a sort of an astrology hybrid. And today we're going to be focusing in on Mars moving into Gemini. So we're going to be having a lot of activity. For once, things are going to be starting to move forward in our lives. For the first time in a long time. I went out for the first time yesterday and sat at a restaurant and actually acted like a normal human being. So I'm excited about this. Most of the planets are moving forward. I think the only one that may be retrograde or coming up retrograde is Venus. I'm not quite sure of that, so don't quote me on that. But Venus is in Pisces right now, and that happened on the 25th. So this is a very favorable energy, Pisces. Venus loves to be in Pisces. So taking a little time to pamper yourself, being excited and being intentional about moving forward in your lives and starting to think about not necessarily taking, like shooting out of the rocket, but taking guided action, taking action that's well thought out, using the weighing idea of Gemini and then the action and assertion of Mars. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I have to tell you, all this news came to me just moments before I started the show, so I'm a little discombobulated, and I'm super, super upset for Small Wildflowers because you guys know how much I love Lucky, my little dog. And if I was having to deal with that, it would be very, very challenging for me. So welcome, Kate. Welcome, Catherine. Welcome, Saeed from Puerto Rico. Jules, Earth Angel. I said hi to Denise. Pickles, welcome. said hi to, and Izzy, I hope said hi to all of you. So I might go a little slower today, so be patient with me. I'm trying to be more expeditious, but for those of you that are new, I start at Pisces and work my way towards Aries. My Libra sun thinks it's only fair because most everybody starts the other way. So I want to give balance there. And again, these readings are focused on angelic advice to help you traverse the transits. Oh, and I don't know if I made this clear, but if indeed you guys want to help small wildflowers in any way, you can reach out to her through Facebook, and I will find out that information for you and try to post it somewhere for you to find. So be on the lookout for that. I'm not sure how to do that quite yet. Okay. Oh, Catherine, I'm so glad you got to be here live today. That's terrific. You know, I don't know, Jules. I haven't heard from Tebow either. Last I heard, he was having some challenges on the home front and was concerned about things like that. I didn't read the comments. I heard this from Juan before he went into surgery. So if we could all just sort of put a big energetic hug around our tribe members as we walk through these challenges. You know, it doesn't seem fun sometimes to walk through these, you know, the closing of a door potentially with small wildflowers pet and Juan having to go through this surgery. But I do know that as we walk through these challenges, they provide us with information and education and an opportunity to connect with our guides and our angels to neutralize any illusions of disempowerment. And sometimes feeling that disempowerment and then pushing up through it is where the power comes from. So this takes me right to Mars moving into Gemini. The sign of our everyday activities, the sign of our thoughts, the sign of what we learn, what we read, what we teach others, our teammates, our workmates. I mean, Gemini is such a full sign and house. It encompasses so much of our everyday activities. So having that assertiveness of Mars is a beautiful energy when we're in fear. It's almost sometimes, while Mars can appear to be reckless and kind of a little bit blunt in that recklessness, I also think that it's the very energy that helps us cut through the fear and then have that empowering situation. And real quickly, I'm going to tell you guys this story in case Small Wildflowers gets to watch this broadcast. I'm a big fan of John Edward, the medium, and I was listening to one of his shows, I don't know, a few years ago. It could have been quite a few years ago now. And he talked about his beloved Bichon dog, Jolene, I think her name was. He'd had her for 19 years and she obviously crossed over. And they had family pets. And, you know, while he loves all those pets, he never quite had the same connection with the other dogs as he did with Jolene. And then one night he had a dream and Jolene said, "I'm coming back to you." And after he had the dream, 2 days later, he went and had lunch with a friend, and at the restaurant was the breeder he had originally got Jolene from, and she said she had a litter of puppies. So he went, in the dream, Jolie said, "Look for the dog with the black spot." This is a Bichon. Bichons are all white by nature. They have hair, not fur. They don't shed. They're kind of like poodles. So he goes and he looks at the puppies, and one really, rubs up against him and loves on him, but doesn't have the black spot. So he walks out and he leaves. He goes home, tells his wife about the puppies. She goes, "Let's go look back at the puppies." And same thing, the same dog comes running up again. And she takes a little picture of the dog. They go and they have dinner afterwards. And she said, "That dog really loves you." And she turns and she shows John the picture she'd taken of the dogs. And her phone had a crack in it, and there was a black spot. And they went back and got that dog and named it Lucky, which I think is funny because my dog's name is Lucky, and John and I are born 2 days apart. My point of this whole story for everybody, If you're just checking in, his small wildflower's dog is in the midst of transitioning to the other side. And I'd like to send a big, energetic, loving hug to her and also to the soul of her dog so that it can reincarnate to her and let her know in an obvious way, just like John's dog, Jolie, aka Lucky, did, and further root our connection to the other side. So thank you for bearing with me as I tell you this story. It really kind of actually makes me tear up because I believe 100% that this is all, obviously, I wouldn't come do this work every week if I didn't. All right, let's jump in and thank you, Les. I had a great day yesterday. I really had fun banging around the mall with a friend of mine and having a nice lunch and enjoying normal life. Welcome, Stephen. Okay, did I miss anybody? I want to welcome Block Tonya, Lucky 8, Malidoma, Earth Angel, V Giles. Okay, so, all right, here we go. We're going to start with Pisces. Rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. If you don't know what a stellium is, it is 4 or more planets in the 4 or more planets in one sign or house, and it's very strong focus in your birth chart. So if you do have a stellium, pay attention to that. Okay, here we go. Oh, Jules, are you talking about Tebow? If you are indeed, worry is a form of prayer that will not serve you. It puts your attention and intention in the more challenging dynamic. So if indeed you cannot reach out to him in the physical world, then connect with your guides and angels so that he can remove the illusion of whatever is holding him down and lift him up. I don't know what story is going on with him. I've missed this part, but put yourself out in that way. And then Spirit will find a way to connect, and you'll find a way, or we will hear something about what's going on with him. These are some of our every Sunday morning tribe members that are really going through some challenges right now, guys. Okay, let's get back to Pisces. And again, you guys, for those that are new here, SH, welcome. I give thanks to my ancestors. Welcome. SH, oh, I said H. Okay. I go backwards. I start at Pisces, work my way towards Aries. And here we go. Our first angel in the foundational position is Layla for Pisces. In the opportunity and or the obstacle is Ariel. In the angel's advice is Chantal. And in the final outcome is Indriel, the light worker. Now we have Pisces, Venus in Pisces for the next, 3 weeks or so. I think she's not moving into Aries until the 21st. It's her favorite place to be. We're going to see a lot of her wanting to enjoy taking care of herself. So here we go. We have the focus card joining Layla. We have Ariel joining the death card. We have Chantal joining the bee. And we have Indriel joining the novice. So Pisces, as Venus is traversing your sign, this is a wonderful time to give your intentions to Spirit. And as I say, giving your intentions to Spirit, this is really more about what it is you want to experience as we move forward. Mars moving this week into Gemini. Most of the planets moving forward now. Some of the more challenging dynamics are found my words, are dissipating because the planets are moving away from each other in the way they have been. So as we start to say, this is my intention, this is where it's almost like you're having a conference call with your guides and your angels. And I also want to say to Pisces, you may be having some challenges on focusing. So rather than resisting, I'm having so much challenges on focusing, again, it's about this sort of letting yourself express to Spirit what it is and then having a soft focus, because there are experiences coming to Pisces that are going to transform you. And they're going to transform you because you have started this connection with spirit. And it's becoming more and more rooted in your everyday life, more tangible, more earthbound. Because I believe as Venus is traversing in through Pisces, we're going to see that your being energy is bringing more romance and more love into your life. And I want to offer it this way because Chantal is the angel of romance. She talks about the resurgence of a romance being more fluffed up, and also ushering in new love. And what I think for many of you who may be single, part of that is allowing yourself to say, you know what? I'm ready to invite in a relationship, but not just any relationship. I'm looking for the relationship that really is this sort of puzzle pieces that connect together in a way that supports both parties to be their highest vibration. Because for Pisces, in the final position is Indriel, the light worker. And in this case, Indriel is saying, God wants you to shine your light on the earth because the earth needs your light. It needs that example of connection with the other side that supports the new beginning that you want. It's almost as if allowing this Venusian energy. It's funny, I was thinking about Venus in Pisces this morning as I was getting ready, and I imagined her with the two girls sitting, almost like having this slumber party / hanging out at home, drinking a glass of wine and doing each other's hairs and facial masks and like preparing for some great event where they were going to express themselves out into the world. So this is what I want to say for Pisces. And I feel like this focus and this expression comes in your intimate life. This is a beautiful energy. And there's also, I got so distracted by the events with Small and with Juan, not so much Juan. I knew what was going on with Juan. I wanted to make some notes because there's some trines going on as well that are really supporting these energies. So I can't remember what they are. I'm sorry, bad girl, but it is what it is. So as we transcend the actual aspects and put our intention out there, I really do believe that we're going to start to see Pisces enjoying more intimacy and more love. All right. So let's move on to our Aquariuses. Just as Saturn in Pisces and Pluto in Virgo, what are the predictions? Oh, well, Pluto, that must be in your birth chart. I have Pluto in Virgo as well, which is a very interesting to me. Welcome, Just Call Me C. Haven't seen you in a while. Welcome, Shelley. What happened? You missed it, Shelley. We have, and if for those of you watching me in the playback, I appreciate your patience with me today. I'm by myself. I've lost both my team members. Juan had surgery this week and he's still recovering. He's doing great. He's home. And Small Wildflowers' beloved fur baby is in the midst of transition. And as you can imagine, she's at a heightened state of distress. So sending prayers to her, and she's working on trying to create funds to help. She didn't have the money that she needed to. The vet wouldn't help the dog without funds. So she's really getting a double whammy here. So that's what happened. I'll try not to repeat that again too many times and continue on. And again, I want to ask those of you that don't mind helping me out today, when you get to your rising sign, if you could make note of the time and then put it in the comments, that would really help me because I won't be able to get to it until much later today, if not till tomorrow. And it helps so much for the people watching the playback. All right, let's go on to our Aquarius, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. And if you have a stellium in Aquarius, wow, we have a stellium in Aquarius, holy scamoli, your whole life must be shifting and changing, and you must be being liberated from so many dynamics. So here we go. Aquarius, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Our first angel is Daniel, the angel of marriage. Our second is Athena. The third is Fiona. And the final is Xana. For those of you that are new, I'm going to repeat what the positions mean. The first position is the foundational position. It's the basis of the matter. The second is the opportunity and or the obstacle. The third is the angel's advice for getting around the obstacle or taking advantage of the opportunity. And the final position is the potential energetic outcome. So joining Daniel, the angel of marriage, we have the love card for Aquarius. Joining Athena, in the opportunity and or the obstacle, we have the focus card. Joining Fiona, we have the disruption card. And joining Xana, we have the deer. Okay, so this is what I want to say about Aquarius. Daniel, the angel of marriage, is talks about spirit bringing you a partner. And, you know, I would not think this was a traditional partner, potentially, because Aquarius does things their own way, uniquely. But I also want to bring up that Daniel talks about my history. And obviously, this is my history in love. And now it's time in many ways to rewrite that history. And, you know, I would say 100% of us that have ever had a love life have had our feelings hurt. We've experienced the darker side of love. But we also have an opportunity to transform that when we start to truly assert ourselves into what is important to us. And this is about the focus of the big picture of what I want in love. So we don't make self-defeating compromises, because, and I say that because I believe that in some ways you may have done that inadvertently, because we need to disrupt that a little bit. And also part of this, Fiona talks about God and the angels bringing you whatever it is you need, that you deserve heaven's help. So this is very much about, you may have very well done all the work you need to do to examine how you've gotten in your own way in your love life. And now you're willing to open it up, because this is about asserting yourself, but not in a aggressive way. It's about a loving way. It's about opening up the space to thinking, you know what, maybe everybody that came before was not what was coming for the future, because we need to disrupt an old thought and then turn it over to spirit. So it's starting to be like, thank you. I've done the work, and now I know it's your job to bring in that person, to set up the situations that conspire to bring in a partner, and or I have to go this way again, because this is love. This is the foundational position. This is not the love of your dog. This is not the love of your child. This is not the love to your mother. This is intimate love and the history of your love. Not about whether you're in a relationship, because Xana is telling me in the final position, Aquarius, that you have been protected. And it's time for you to start to think about that you've been protected from moving down a road that would not have served your ultimate liberation, freedom, all the things that are Aquarius. You know, of all the signs, Aquarius is like the most out of the box. And if you got together with someone who was beautiful and attractive to you physically, but didn't allow you to be out of the box, you would be miserable. So now it's time to be gentle and diplomatic with yourself. I don't even think this is about fear. I think, sometimes, and I don't know how this happened, but in my generation, and maybe I was crazy, but I don't think people were so crazy to get married. I don't remember people like turning 30 and suddenly freaking out. I need to get married. I need to have babies. So nowadays, that's a little bit different. So I feel like if you think about the history of your love life, that there is new energies coming that will allow you to be more authentic to your true self, to be able to evolve, to liberate, to grow within the dynamic, and then open it up. Meaning, thank you, Spirit. I'm good. I'm ready to receive, and in some ways disrupt my cynicism. Okay, here we go on to our Capricorns. So guys, I got to talk about this, even though I can't wait for Scorpio. I have to start now. So I'm watching Nova on PBS lately. I don't know what's happened to me since Saturn and Jupiter moved into Aquarius, but I'm totally into all the space shows, and not just like aliens. I'm talking about like learning about space. And this last week, February 18th, the day after the square between Saturn and Uranus happened, Perseverance landed on Mars and successfully landed on Mars and started its exploration. They believed there was life on Mars. They believed that Mars and Earth were formed 4 billion years ago at about the same time. So I'm watching all this, and then Pluto shows up. And they're talking about all the different dynamics and dwarf planet, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden they pull back into space and they show the planet and they say, Pluto has this huge heart inside the planet's surface that when you look at it from space, you can see it. I thought that was so crazy interesting. And I'll tell you why. Because even though Pluto represents death and decay, it only wants to kill off the things that aren't coming from the deepest part of your truth, your heart. I was blown away. This show had nothing to do with astrology and everything to do with science. It was so interesting to me. All right, here we go. This is Capricorn, rising sun, moon, and stelliums. And again, those of you that are at Capricorn, thank you, Jenny B. I appreciate that. You look like small wildflowers with your little arrow. If you guys could just write down the timestamp and put it in the comments, it would be such a help for not just me, but for the viewers that watch after the live. All right, Capricorn. Our first angel is Fiona. The second is Vanessa. The third is Shanti. And the final is Teresa. Fiona in the foundational position is being joined by the novice. Vanessa is being joined by the cow. Shanti is being joined by the dragon. And Teresa is being joined by the letting go card. Well, this is very interesting to me. So if you have a Capricorn stellium, and you know, Capricorn in general is a dutiful energy. We all know that. Kind of do things not because we like them all the time, but because we were assigned them, expected of them, we're good at them. So I want to say it this way. I have felt that Capricorn is really vibrating at a place where it's starting to emulate the baby goat versus the old cranky goat. Okay? Because here we have the novice in the foundational position, and we have Fiona saying, now that you've asked God and the angels for help, be open to receiving. So what I think, and this is what I felt so much, is that Capricorn has been opening up in their emotional body. This whole transit that's been going through your house, and now you're into the sign of liberation and of freedom and of revolution, and your ruling planet is there creating a new foundation. And it's not that I don't think you will always have a tendency to be a leader and to get the job done. I think you're starting to see that as you ask God and the angels for help about what you want to experience, cut the lighter side, the baby goats that are jumping around excited, because the cow is offering you abundance. And this isn't just for money. This is nourishment. This is because you've been asking and receiving to have a new experience, and you're more willing to stand in faith. And this is where the great part of Capricorn, because those of you that have really kind of hooked into how Saturn really rules, then you're able to be stoic and moving forward faithfully, even when you're scared or you don't actually feel faithful, because in the angel's advice, because you've asserted yourself calmly. And, you know, Saturn does rule cool things in some respects. I should say, well, it feels cold and dry, and then there's the angel of peace. So I really think that what's happening is that Capricorn is starting to realize that in order to take care of others, I have to take care of me. And in doing so, I'm letting go of some of those old rules, but I'm not throwing them out. I'm just sort of rewriting them to evolve into the new space that I'm moving forward in. So if we think about it, that Saturn rules the 10th house of Capricorn in the normal wheel, whole sign astrologer, by the way, or whole sign we're going on, then what's happening is you're giving yourself permission to think of structures in a way that actually moves not only you, but the whole environment into a way that is supporting what we want to experience, which is going to be the new Aquarian age, that it is not selfish to fill the heart, because as we fill the heart, we allow others to fill the heart. And then that tenacity, that endurance that Saturn gives Capricorn, then you start to really be a leader. That's what I think it is. And in some respects, your viewpoint of how you've been dutiful to others is going to give you an epiphany. This sort of like, oh, when I've been looking at them in this way, I've been holding them small. And now by allowing them to, I feel like it's about opening things up that lets things blossom and breathe. And here we are heading towards spring. Okay, at least spring on this side of the planet. Why do you prefer whole sign? Bomb.com, it's interesting. I prefer whole sign because for the most part in my natal chart, whole sign resonates. The only thing that really doesn't resonate with me are my nodes, my south node and my north node. I prefer them in Placidus because there's just sort of this weird thing about my north node being in Libra, the sign of partnerships, and I've been single my whole life. So, and I do think that sometimes if I prefer whole sign because it just seems to resonate more consistently with me. And I think it's easier in some ways to look at your chart and read it. Okay. Here we go on to our Sagittariuses. Okay. Here we go. Sagittarius rising, moon, sun, and step. Whoops. Let's just give it another. Catherine, actually my sun is on the fixed star Spica. My north node is in early degree Libra, in the 6th house in Placidus and in the 7th house of whole sign. So it makes more sense to me to be in the house of service. All right, here we go. Sagittarius, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Our first angel is Athena. There's a theme. Our second is Archangel Raphael. The third is Xana. And the final is Omega. This is lovely. Thank you, Courtney. All right, everybody. Athena in the foundational position is being joined by the focus card. Are you kidding me? 3 readings going into our 4th, and we're seeing focus at least 3 out of 4 times. Archangel Raphael is being joined by the wind fairy. Xana is being joined by the dog. And Omega's being joined by the truth. This is really lovely. Not that I would not be honest, but I feel like the energies I've been feeling like once the first 100 days or so of 2021 was over, that we'd feel this sort of movement forward. We'd start to feel a open energy coming again. And I really feel like that's what's happening. And when I look at Sagittarius, Athena says it's safe for you to lovingly assert yourself and to really focus on that assertion. How am I showing up? Because I say that because there is an opportunity for a healing, an illumination into how you've been thinking. We just talked about that Mars is moving into Gemini, and I feel like that's what this is about. And it's about finally being able to move yourself forward. And it's about asserting yourself with great focus into the direction you want to go. Now, let me offer what focus is, because sometimes focus can be misconstrued. When I say focus, I think sometimes people think focusing in on how do I get it done? How do I get it done? I don't think that's it. I think it's more about saying to spirit, I'm willing to get on the road. of where I want to be. I'm willing to open up. I'm standing, being brave. Now inspire me as to what the next movement is. And Blanc Tonya views, going vegan could be exactly that. Full moon in the house of health. But I want to say it this way, because now is this time that as you focus, and I'm going to jump to the final card, you have victory. Your truth will come to fruition. What you want will come. But part of it is your willingness to assert yourself in a way that allows for illumination and not judgment. If you've had, wobbly results, it's okay. Because what does Xana say? You're being protected. Because while the dog represents unconditional love, loyalty, and sincerity, I kind of am putting this in a bigger way. I feel like the dog is really more about this. When we walk into the house and we haven't been home for 5 minutes, or we went to, dump the trash, our dogs act like it is like Christmas Day when we walk back in. And I kind of feel like that's it. How much has Sagittarius allowed themselves the privilege of being excited about where they want to go? And we know we've been walking through mud the last 2.5 years. I don't need to reiterate all the challenging dynamics, but now that is beyond us. Really, for the most part, it is. There'll always be challenges, but this conjunction that happened will not happen again for like another freaking 140, 200 years or something. So we're done, because here it is, victory. Keep up the good work, and the good work is the assertion of your focus of how you feel, when I say how do you feel. It's an interesting thing, because sometimes if you haven't been close to what it is you want, if you haven't been able to get in the arena of it, you really don't know how you're going to feel. But if you give yourself permission in some ways to say, all I know is it's going to feel super good. And I'm willing to learn about all sorts of things as a result of this, because I'm so excited about the idea of moving into new territory. Sagittarius is all about travel and thoughts and ninth house beliefs. And in some ways, in a challenging dynamic, it can be about being stuck in what you believe and thinking you know it all. And so to me, this is really a different focus. It's like a focus where I'm going to assert myself into an unknown area. And then I'm going to get proof of that somehow. Spirit's going to start to support that, and I'm going to see it. And that's going to give me a momentum to keep moving. I couldn't agree with you more. What's that? Panogram? I don't know how to say that, but I couldn't agree with you more. February, all these last few months have been very challenging. The weirdest part is I never really thought that my emotional body responded that much to the transits, but boy, do I see it now. And I have Uranus creeping up on my moon. It'll hit my moon at 9 degrees. Okay, here we go. On to our Scorpios, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Is it normal, Andre says, is it normal to feel drained after a full moon? I was so energetic last night, and today I cannot get out of bed. That's funny. It was in Virgo, the house of health. So I don't know, potentially you may need rest. You may need to allow yourself the privilege of not having to feel the go, go, go. And, if you were feeling excited, I had a really great day yesterday too, and I'm a little tired today. But I'm going to plug along. Okay, here we go. This is our Scorpio, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. All right, our first angel is Shanti, the angel of peace. The second is Archangel Michael. The third is Vanessa. And the final is Opal. I'm never going to forget now that Pluto has that big heart on it. It's gonna always come into my brain now, because it makes perfect sense that whatever doesn't come from your heart is headed towards death and destruction. Because it's under some sort of illusion. Sandia, no, I go backwards. I'm Teri Hunter. I go backwards. I start at Pisces, so I'm on my way towards Cancer. I am on Scorpio right now. The first, the angel joining Shanti, the angel of peace, is the partnership card. Archangel Michael is being joined by the fear card. Vanessa is being joined by the serpent. And Opal's being joined by the king. Okay, here we go. Shanti, the angel of peace, says, I'm bringing you new tranquility, new peace. But part of that peace is about really kind of being authentic about what is disrupting that peace. And is partnership disrupting your peace right now? Because I want to say it this way. I feel like when I look at this, we just had a full moon in Virgo. And Virgo doesn't represent just health. It represents slavery. And we don't have necessarily slavery active. Maybe it is in some parts of the world, but now we're enslaved to our jobs. We're enslaved to our wallets, what we think we're to keep our everyday lives running. And I wonder, when I look at Scorpio, I wonder if there's a part of you that feels obligated to a partnership, or obligated in some ways to a viewpoint of a partnership. Because, and I'm probably talking more about the view, because Archangel Michael, while he talks about protection and is known to be the great protector, in this particular case, he's asking me to have fear. To have courage and to really look at what I have fear about. And rather than to focus on the aspect of fear, to really look at where's false evidence appearing real. And how is that appearing real in my partnerships? Have I been telling myself I always get the guy that says, I love you, gotta go, or the girl who says, you're awesome, but here's the guy I really like, or whatever your story is. Because Archangel Michael is asking you to have courage to shift in a big way. Because Vanessa talks about faith or fear. Now, you're going to make your decisions based on faith or fear, because this is an opportunity for my Scorpios to really shed a skin. And the skin is not about not wanting partnership. It's just truly, is the partnership serving me in the bigger picture of things, in what I want to experience from the deepest parts of my soul. When I look at Opal, there's a few cards of children in this deck, but when we're talking to such a large group of people, and Opal specifically says that God is in charge of caring for your children both on heaven and earth. And to me, this is really about the deeper part of how I want to connect with somebody else. We really don't need each other to survive anymore. We can, in many ways, live independent lives, but now this is about the choice of partner. And Scorpio choosing a partner that fosters their peace and the depths and the intensity and the richness of what you want to experience in that relationship. And the king here can represent male energy, absolutely. But to me, it's karma. It's like justice and balance. There's so many people I have felt in the last, 2 years or so, maybe longer. Time is just warping for me, but I feel like Spirit has shown me many people reaching a point where they think their lives are supposed to go into some sort of retirement, some sort of going out to pasture, and the opposite is about to happen. People are about to find or create or engage their lives in ways that really start to set an example for the higher vibration of what this plane has to offer. And so I feel like when it comes to Scorpio, as you really start to be courageous and start to emotionally move towards what gives you peace in your relationships, then the relationships that are toxic will fade away, but you'll start to see new things coming in that will so much be more in alignment with what you want to experience in the way of connection. And it will set an example for others, and in some ways offer them an invitation to be as brave as you are. That's where I'm going. Yes, it is. I give thanks to my ancestors. It is the birthstone for Libra. All right, here we go. Libra, the sign of partnerships. All right, on to Libra, speaking of, I really think that, this Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter, and even Mars last year, that this whole conjunction that threw us all into this, what appeared to be chaos, turmoil, disruption. I really believe that was that Pluto heart that I never knew. I wish I would have known that heart was on that planet for that year I was talking about it, because that is what I'm getting at. The main theme running for all of us is to really go down into our hearts, and not about what we think. Oh, I think I can make this happen, or I think this can happen. No, it's not about what you've experienced so far. It's about that deeper part where the child doesn't know there's a limit, doesn't know there's something that is stopping them. So this is how we rewrite this world now. This is where we go from the demolition to the reconstruction. All right, here we go. On to Libra, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. I've been studying with Brian Coulter the nodes and past lives. It's very interesting when people tell me where their nodes are right now, how it sort of starts to tell me a story, SH. I'd have to see the aspects, but very interesting. Okay, here we go. Libra. Our first angel is Archangel Uriel. The second is Caressa. The third is Serena. And the final is Ariel. Welcome, Regina. Okay, here we go. Let's see what Archangel Uriel is working on Libra with. Again, rising, sun, moon, and stelliums. Joining Archangel Uriel is the burden card. Joining Caressa is the focus card again. Oh my goodness, we're learning a lot about our focus this week, guys. Serena is being joined by the fear card, and Ariel's being joined by the frog. This is very interesting for me for Libra, because on the onset, it may appear to be challenging, but I feel like it's actually very liberating. When I think it was SH said her south node, or his south node, was in Libra, I thought that was interesting. And as I look at Archangel Uriel, who's dealing with frustration, anger, unforgiveness, and the burden of it. And I want to put it this way, because sometimes Libra's shadow side can be sort of passive. Like, I don't want to confront something. I don't want to have to assert myself. It could be even where you've been in a partnership for so long, you're like, you should know better. You should know who and what I am. And you could be very frustrated with having to repeat yourself and being maybe even pushed into an energy that is bigger than you want it to be. Like, don't make me be so assertive. I've already said this a million times. Why do I have to say it 1,000,001? Because Archangel Uriel wants to release you from that burden. And when I say it, it's almost as if by waiting until you're so annoyed that you have an outburst, it doesn't help either. And then, because there is a Caressa says you're at the end of a life cycle, and then here's the focus card. Now, I'm a Libra sun, so here I go sharing one of my stories. My stories are always somehow aligned to the reading, because you guys who've watched me for a while know that I had this issues with this hotel across the street, and I had so much focus that every time I heard a little twig drop, I was like, what's that hotel doing? And it was very burdensome. My anger was affecting my health. So I started to really pray for me to be able to move my focus. Help me to step away from this and not to look there. It doesn't help me. And as I started to step away from my focus, I'm like, I'm not going to look no matter what I hear. I started to see how I was participating in the annoyance. And then the annoyances started to go away, because what I started to identify was where false evidence was appearing real, and I was blocking my own abundance. And when I say abundance, I truly mean peace, harmony. What does Libra want? Balance, fairness. I don't think this has anything to do with money, because in the final position, Here's Ariel saying that new psychic and spiritual experiences are changing the way you view yourself in the world. And this is an opportunity for the frog to jump off this lily pad that hasn't really been authentic. And I feel like, and this is about the home. So if you've had challenges in your home, Libra, either with the personalities in your home, it could even be with workmen in your home. It could be anything to do with your home environment. I don't know why I'm going that direction, but I am. And I feel like these burdens are going to lift. And part of them is as you shift your focus into, is my annoyance contributing to the idea that things are annoying me? Because I see this person as incompetent, and then they become incompetent. So if I move away from their incompetence, is there the possibility that I'll send somebody else to fix it, or something else will happen? Because that's where I feel like you could be very empowered. It's almost like because it's not about being passive. It's about truly finding the balance, and where to balance isn't always asserting yourself, but letting something else assert itself, passing the baton, because spirit may come in and fix things for you. And then you'll sort of giggle about it. All right, let's move forward with our Virgos. Oh, and our little small, I'm just going to say again, for those of you, Stephen, I don't know if you got to hear, because I don't know when you came in, but Small Wildflowers, her beloved pet is transitioning, it looks like. There's liver failure. And she's trying to gather funds and resources to help with the vet and all of those things. So whatever we can do to help her and send her love and support during this time. And Juan is still recovering from his surgery. So that's why we don't see either one of them here today. And I appreciate all of you helping me with the timestamps. I couldn't feel more loved. So sending prayers and angels to illuminate a dark path, because oftentimes that dark path is really about to walk into a field of sunshine. All right, here we go, Virgo. Rising sun, moon, and stelliums. This was your full moon. What did we have an opportunity to illuminate? What did we have an opportunity to see that we could reconcile? Our first angel is Daniel, the angel of marriage. Virgo. The second is Archangel Uriel, frustration, anger, and unforgiveness. There's Sonia, which represents our deceased loved ones and our guides and our team. And there's Crystal, saying have faith and hope, because there's more on the horizon. All right, Virgo, here we go. Daniel is being joined by the focus card. Could we laugh a little bit about this focus card? No sign. This is where I love doing angels and astrology, because while we all look at our different signs and the different pieces of the pie, aka the houses, we're all one tribe. We're all leaves on the same tree. And apparently our focus is super important this week as Mars moves into Gemini of everyday activities. And as I start to create, because Mars is pioneering and creative and innovative as well. So it's time to really pay attention to our focus, everybody. But Virgo, we have Archangel Uriel being joined by the novice in the opportunity or the obstacle. Sonia is being joined by the spider, which is a partnership card for me. And Crystal is being joined by the partnership card. All right, so this is what I want to say. And this is going to be sounding a little bit sad for Small Wildflowers, because oftentimes I've observed people who have been single for a long time and they've found love through their pets. And then the pet crosses over and a relationship begins. And I don't know why it happens that way. I don't know why, but I would not be surprised if that was an opportunity for Virgo. Daniel is the angel of marriage, of partnership, of my history in partnerships, and talks about God and the angels bringing you relationships. And here's the focus. So Virgo on the more shadow side can be critical, can be a little bit high expectations. So I feel like this is an opportunity for Virgo to really look at your focus in the story you've been telling yourself. Because if indeed you have been frustrated, here is Archangel Uriel dealing with frustration, anger, and unforgiveness. You're being offered a new beginning, a reconciliation, because there's the potential that your focus has participated in your experience. And I say potential just because I'm being nice. You've been co-creating, and it isn't it to be on the negative. It's more just about awareness, because Virgo represents perfection in many ways, and purity. And when I've been studying recently, I have felt like Spirit has been saying that one of Virgo's opportunities is to see the perfection in imperfection, that it is the purity of the journey, the child that learns and falls down and then gets up again to persevere, that is the true perfection. So I feel like this is really an opportunity to start anew and to see that, my frustration may have been merited, but is it really moving my story forward? Because again, here we have a partnership card in the form of the spider and Sonia. To me, Sonia is my deceased loved ones, my team, my heavenly hosts that are directly serving and working with me. And now it's time to come into cooperation with them and to make that practical, Virgo. And here we have the crystal saying, have faith and hope. There's more on the horizon that you can't see. And there's the actual partnership card. So the first and fourth position represent what's more in the 3D world, whereas the second and third position are more advisory. So here we go. Where's your focus in relationships? And are you focused in a way that serves the story that you want? And even if you don't want to be in a partnership, it doesn't necessarily have to be an intimate partnership always. Sometimes these are just the everyday partnerships that make us feel connected and supported. And now it's time to have faith and hope and know that there's more on the horizon that's coming. And I want to say it this way, in a way that feels that there's a purity attached to it. It's almost as if this opportunity that's coming for Virgo is to be loved for being fabulously flawed. And if anybody asks about me, I am the queen of fabulously flawed. All right, here we go. On to our Leos, rising sun, moon, and stelliums. Don't understand, just a question mark. You need the question attached to it. I'm so glad, Marigold, you're feeling better today. Welcome, Nikki. If you think about it, Nikki, if you think you need to be careful about someone cheating on you, maybe that's somebody that you don't need to be with. Because that's an awful lot of focus on an area that's not going to make you happy. All right, here we go to our Leos, rising sun, moon, and stelliums. All right, so Eddie Dude, what does this mean? You're being snarky. I've got to watch the room too. So, all right, here we go. Here we go, Leo. Our first angel is Fiona. The second is Rochelle. The third is Bethany. And the final is Shanti. All right, Stephen, don't start. Please. I'm by myself today. I don't want to manage. Yes, thank you. Don't want to manage that right now. All right, here we go. Leo, Fiona is being joined by the hawk. Rochelle is being joined by the deer. Bethany's being joined by the wind fairy. And Shanti's being joined by the spider. Okay, so here welcome CJD. Good to see you. Okay, so I've been talking a lot about Leo lately and the idea that the sun rules Leo and the sun rules the zodiac in general, and that the sun governs the fifth house of romance, of children, of personal creation, of personal creative expression. And I feel like we need to pay more attention to that idea, that this is really the focus of the human, is to see what the sun rules and to start to focus in on our own individual wants and desires, creative expression, if we indeed want to have children or be childlike. Because I believe that that is how we're going to recalibrate this earth plane to be the nirvana it was truly meant to be. So, Leo, it's time for you. Fiona says, now that you ask God and angels for help, be open to receiving. You deserve God's help. You deserve the angels' help because you are a leader. And as you look above and rise above and see the signs and the omens, you not only lead for yourself, but you lead for others, because it is time to follow your heart. That's the organ that Leo rules, is the heart. It's also the biggest challenge for Leo. It's to be vulnerable to their heart. So now is a time to be gentle and diplomatic as you allow your heart to lead the charge. And I say that because we have Bethany in the Angel's Advice. This is about self-care. And I want to put it this way, because Leo sometimes gets a bad rap for coming in and being so bright and shiny that everybody else feels a little bit less than. And I feel like this is truly an opportunity for you to really assess about self-care. And is it your job to dim your light so someone else can feel bright? Or is it their job to find the brightness in all situations? Because for me, for my Leos, this is Shanti, the angel of peace. And now, this spider card for me is oftentimes relationships, but it on the face of the card talks about creative projects. And I feel like part of this dynamic for Leo is to look for the signs and the omens that they are being guided to be the leaders that they are, to allow themselves to express themselves as they see fit, and then allowing the audience, the people around you, to filter that as they do. Not for you to try to manage them to be able to filter it in a way that they feel is palatable. This feels very much like, damn the torpedoes, I'm going to be who I want to be, and if you don't like it, well, too bad. And I don't mean it in a mean way. I mean it more in a way that I've got the hawk, which is an 11. There's my thought. I've got the 29 representing thought and then reducing down to an 11. So I really feel like, and the 22 is about cooperation. 22 with others. But I want to offer it this way. As Leo says, you know what? If indeed the sun ruled Capricorn, then would the zodiac really represent more dutiful energy? Falling in line with the stream? No, the sun rules individuality in the fifth house. And it's time for us to grab that. And Leo, it's your job to trust your heart enough, to be vulnerable enough to your heart's desires, to know that God and the angels are supporting you. And as they support you, your signs and omens will come. And you will feel more peace and more flow within your own life as you allow this new dynamic. This web is strong. It may not look strong on the outside, but it's extremely strong on the inside. And that's what's being offered to you. Okay, let's move on to our Cancers. CJD, Juan had surgery and he is recovering. He's well, he's home, but he's tired. And so he was just going to sleep. We have a challenge with small wildflowers because her fur baby is transitioning. We've got some liver disease, I guess. So she's very, very distraught and trying to manage that and manage the funds. So if we could send her some love and prayers and whatever else is possible. So here we go. All right, here we go. Cancer, rising sun, moon, and stelliums. Yes, Daniel, Cancer moon. Oh, love a Cancer moon. To have the ruler of Cancer in the sign is beautiful. Also makes you quite intuitive. Virgo, we did Virgo, Linda. We just finished Virgo. Yeah. Here we go, Cancer. Oh, my goodness, JR. Moon in Cancer conjunct a Leo sun. That's so fabulous. So you were born on a new moon in the sign of baby making, Leo, and motherhood. Wow. I think that's so cool. Love to know the rest of your chart. All right, here we go. Cancer, rising, sun, moon, and stelliums. Our first angel is Archangel Raphael. The second is Xana. The third is Oceana. And the final is Archangel Uriel. Okay. A lot of us are just done being stuck at home. A lot of us are ready to move on with our lives. And thank you, Mars, for moving into Gemini. Happy to see moving the story forward. And Venus is in Pisces. Yes, okay, I said it right. I was saying Pisces is in Venus. Anyway, so we got some fun stuff going on, guys. Tamika, it's so wonderful to see you again. I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back. All right. Cancer, Archangel Raphael is being joined by the Death card. Xana is being joined by the Partnership card. Oceana is being joined by the King. And Archangel Uriel is being joined by the Communications card. All right. So for my Cancers, you know, when I see the Death card, I just think of transformation. And this to me very much is transformation through an epiphany of some kind for you. It very much says to me that there is a reconciliation, a healing, an epiphany that comes. And I almost feel like it's a epiphany about how you personally have been communicating, because I feel like you've been frustrated. I don't know about anger or unforgiveness, but I feel like there could be a little bit of a, you know, this full moon was in Virgo. It was about what we're enslaved to in some respects. And that's an attitude. It can be an attitude of perfection. So I want to offer it this way, because in the opportunity of the obstacle, Cancer is being protected, in some ways emotionally protected about partnership. And it could be the idea that you don't have a partner, or if you are in a relationship, you may have been going through a little bit of a communications challenge during the Mercury retrograde. And that might have just kind of set a tone of feeling like, really? I don't know. Because in the angel's advice, here we have justice and balance, alchemy. But part of it is because, Cancer, you're allowing yourself to swim up through the ocean, which you rule. You're trusting this whale asking you to come towards your soul's truth. And Oceana is asking you to lovingly assert yourself. So let me round this off. I feel like there's the potential, and I'm going to say this lovingly, that Cancer may have been slightly impatient in their communications recently. And it just feels like a building frustration that has been happening, you know, through this whole challenging time. And now is an opportunity to see that and have this sort of epiphany in the way you've been communicating. And then in doing so, allowing yourself to know that your partner loves you, you know, and as you assert yourself to fairness and balance and like, oh, I'm sorry if I've been a little snarky, or, you know, even if maybe your partner's been a little snarky in their communication, let's flip the script. So rather than focusing in on their snarkiness, you decide to say, you know what, we all have our days. Because I really do feel like Archangel Raphael, I see almost like this epiphany that comes from and offers this transformation that comes out of Archangel Raphael's head, now gives me wings to fly. As I learn that it's not sometimes what I say, but my tone of voice when I say it. Kind of going there. All right. Somebody was saying, has Pisces been done yet? Yes, I go backwards, JR. I start at Pisces and then work my way towards Aries. I'm a Libra sun, and everybody does it, Aries to Pisces. So I was trying to implement a little balance. So I always go Pisces to Aries. That's how I roll. You can rewind, and hopefully we'll have timestamps. Our team has taken a hit this week. Both of my team members are challenged right now, so bear with us this week. I'm glad you could be here. No worries. I'm so happy you could be here. Andre, thank you. I'm so glad that you found benefit in that. All right, let's go on to our Geminis. Welcome, Devin. Sandy, hello. Yeah, it was a doozy. There's been a lot of doozies lately, I'll tell you. We're learning to roll with the punches, or at least bob and weave, so we don't get popped in the face. All right, here we go, Gemini. Lucky. Had to give him a little. Good boy. All right, Gemini. Merlina is our first angel. The second in our opportunity and our obstacle is Caressa. In the angel's advice is Xana, the angel of protection. Thank you, Jenny. You've been awesome helping out today. And in the final position is Rochelle, the angel of the heart. All right, joining Merlina is the dragon. Joining Caressa is the wasp. Joining Xana is the dog. And joining Rochelle is the stag. I got chills everywhere for Gemini. Hi, Karen, welcome. You know, Mars is moving into your sign. Mars actually really likes to be in Gemini, loves the motion, loves to be buzzing around the neighborhood, you know, buzzing, hanging out with my friends. So I want to offer this. Merlina says you're confused and indecisive. And I want to say it's because you get to, the dragon is a cool energy to me. It's an energy of asserting myself, but in a very cool, calm way. And so to me, Merlina is saying to Gemini, before you jump up and take any action, take a minute and sort of assess the situation, because as you assess it, you're going to want to move forward that's in a way that's very calm, cool, and collected. Now, let me offer it this way, because I don't know if I think that Gemini is confused. I know Gemini is the sign of the twins, and sometimes the thought process can go back and forth, but to me, it actually feels like there's a certain amount of clarity you have here. That's where the dragon comes in, because in the opportunity or the obstacle is Caressa saying you're at the end of a life cycle, that new happiness awaits you, and to call on God and the angels while you go through this transition. And what I think this transition is about is the wasp. And if indeed Gemini has felt misunderstood or not acknowledged in some way in their love life, because in the angel's advice, we have the dog and we have Xana, the angel of protection. So there's something, and I don't know if I think this is outside love, actually, Gemini. I think this might be inside love, meaning how you're assessing yourself and your viability and value out in the world. And maybe your results have not been indicative of what the real truth is. That's what I'm talking about. Because to me, the end of the life cycle is really the end of being pissed off or the end of being frustrated. It's almost like I don't need to pretend I'm confused and indecisive anymore. I know what I want. And the problem is I haven't gotten it yet. So every once in a while, I may fall under the illusion, Mercury retrograde, of not knowing what I want or not experiencing it yet. And at the same time, I'm actually being protected by God and the angels to a higher vibration, because in the final position is Rochelle, as I honor and follow the guidance of my heart. And there's the card of leadership. And this is how I want to say it. The stag and the deer are a couple. And I really feel like when I look at this, it's not so much about straight up partnership and intimate love as much as I feel like it's kind of like, Gemini rules the third house. It rules siblings, it rules neighborhoods, it rules my community, my teammates, my workmates, my schoolmates, my all forms of team. And I feel like when I look at this, Gemini is like, all right, people, let's come together now and show a little love to one another. I'm sick of being pissed off. I'm sick of being annoyed by everything going on in the world, all the indiscrepancies, the challenges, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm ready as a Gemini to push myself through any indecision by just lovingly asserting myself in a calm way towards what it is I want, whether or not any of you people agree with it or not. That's where I'm going. And I want to offer this too, because, with Mars going into Gemini, and we do have, I believe, some aspect of Mercury and Jupiter being together. Dang it, I didn't get a chance to do my homework or get my notes together as succinctly as I would have wanted to. But there could be the potential. Oh, wait. No, don't have it written down. But there is some conjunction between, I think Mercury was retrograde. So what happened is I think it traversed over Jupiter and now it's going to come back the other way. So we'll have another conjunction. So this could be the what I believe, what I think, and how, and there's this dynamic of Mars and Gemini that may make people very assertive in their beliefs. So as you, rather than being angrily asserting yourself, but rather calmly, I think what you're going to find is movement and the opportunity to actually display that movement because you've stood in leadership for how you're in leadership and how you're communicating. So I feel like you're going to come to the end of a cycle of being annoyed, being frustrated, being like, what's wrong with everybody? Why is everybody so mean to each other? That's where I'm going with this. It feels very communal to me. All right, let's go into our Tauruses. All right. So, Stephen, I love your comment because you're saying, I've just come to the realization, well, if that isn't just the beauty of what this whole transit has been about, ripping away and sometimes in a harsh way, the illusion of what others might expect of me, to only go to the depths of my heart, Pluto, with the big heart that you see in the through the atmosphere of the planet to the surface from space, coming from your heart. Now, once you can identify what's in your heart, now Spirit can really start to move the story forward and bring those things into your experience. All right, Taurus, rising, sun, moon, and stellium. Okay. Give a good shuffle. Jenny's my pinch hitter today. Loving on you, girl. Thank you so much. Such a great team effort we all do here. Take care of each other. Taurus rising. Our first angel is Shanti, the angel of peace. The second is Rosetta. The third is Adriana. And the final is Oceana. Awesome. Shanti, the angel of peace, is being joined by the butterfly. Rosetta is being joined by the fear card. Adriana is being joined by the owl. And Oceana is being joined by the bear. Okay, so this is what I want to say as I get chills everywhere. Uranus is all about electricity, lightning, anxiety, nervous breakdowns. I mean, every planet and every sign has its pluses and minuses. And so for my Tauruses, especially, my Tauruses, all of those within, the first few degrees of Taurus, meaning up to the 11th degree around where I am, because you're going back and forth over this dynamic. And I really believe that in many ways, if you've been feeling anxious or a little bit unsettled, it's because there are things that needed to be moved out. There's more peace coming. Taurus, with Uranus going through your sign, whether your sun, moon, ascendant, and if you have a stellium, your whole world is about to change. But the good news is it can change the direction you want it to go. But before I knew it, before I realized it, Uranus had traversed my rising sign, my Aries rising, and I'm at 26 degrees. And wow, little bombs were going off in my world. Those little bombs were bringing me closer to be able to be here with you on Sundays and aligned to my truth. So that's what I think is going on for my Tauruses. There is more peace coming to you, but it is going to come through a transformation. And I'm going to jump to the final position because part of it is your willingness to tell a new story about what is the truth of your heart. This is really about rewriting a story from an enchanted place, not from the rear view mirror. The Baird talks about music, poetry. So it's the finer vibrations of the Baird now, because in the opportunity or the obstacle is this opportunity to move out of fear, to adopt a more childlike dynamic, to look at how much time have I been spending contemplating something more, or something that isn't actually happened yet. It's something like, oh no, because Adriana says she's leading you towards the answers to your prayers because you're deciphering what's true and what's not for you. And where fear is false evidence appearing real, and where fear is actually your friend because it's empowering you to shoot up past where you've been before. You know, this is the thing about a bull, that while it's a fixed sign, and some people can say, well, bull won't move. You put that bull in the direction of what it wants, and it's going to just plow everything out of the way. So I don't want to say it in a negative way. I think it can be done in a positive way, because I really believe that you're going through a transformation that is taking you to a place of much more the higher vibrations of the Venusian quality. My moon is going to trigger a trine, 2 grand trines between Pluto and Venus that are sitting a few degrees apart in my 6th house, and Saturn in my 10th house. And at first I started to get nervous about Saturn, restrictive, Pluto killing me, but then I realized, no, I'm going through a huge transformation. And as rather than surrender to it, like, okay, what's going to happen to me? No, I put a freaking focus. I want this to happen. I want to move this story. I want this the way that it should be. And now I'm going to gently and slowly swim through my emotional body as I put on the gas and then take the gas off, as I identify where is really fear, something I need to pay attention to so I don't get hurt, and where it's empowering me. And thank you to the angels for helping me decipher between the two. That's where I'm going. All right, we're going to head on to our final sign, Aries. But before I do, let me check my phone and tell you guys how you can help small wildflowers. Let me see if I can find some info. Okay, I'm going to verbally tell you her email address because I'm not sure that it'll stay in the chat, but you guys can reach her at 1 smallwildflower@gmail.com. And I don't know if we're allowed to do this on the channel, but these are extenuating circumstances, so I'm just going to stick my neck out there and give you her information. If you want to be of service to her and help her walk through this dark night of the soul, I'm sure she would absolutely appreciate it. Small is located in the Pacific here in California. So, our fur babies, I'm telling you, so much love they give us. I just, my heart. As Lucky goes in his bed and starts digging around. All right, let's go on to our final sign, Aries, rising, sun, moon, and stelliums. And let's not forget to send some love to Juan. Of the two, he's probably in a little bit better shape than Small is. I think he's feeling a lot better. Okay, here we go. I'm in California too. I give thanks to my ancestors. All right, here we go. It's a one. It's the letter one, not the not spelled out one. Okay, here we go. Welcome, Blanc. Tonya Views. I thought I saw you earlier. All stellium planets are retrograde in my birth chart. Does it matter? Oh, yeah. PSG, it would matter. Because it would be, to me, if the stellium is in retrograde, whatever house is going to tell you where the landscape of it is, and the planets are going to tell you what you need to address or what you need to review or what you need to assess so that you can move forward. It doesn't have to be negative. Retrograde planets are an opportunity to rest, review, and oftentimes astrologers will say that if Mercury is retrograde in your birth chart, that when it goes retrograde in transit, it's actually a favorable dynamic. So that's where I'm going. All right, here we go. Aries, our first angel is Rosetta. Boy, we're having a theme today. Our opportunity or our obstacle is Adriana. Our angel's advice is Xana, again, protection. And then our final is Shanti, the angel of peace. This is what I think this Mars moving forward in Gemini, and the planets all moving forward. I think Venus is the only one that might be retrograde over the next little bit. I can't remember what somebody said. I think it was Lotta. All right. I'm sorry, JR, I looked at you. You can find me on Lotta's website if you want to book a personal reading. But I'm sorry, Aries, please don't be mad at me. The perception card is joining Rosetta. We have Adriana being joined by the horse. We have Xana being joined by the queen. And we have Shanti being joined by the bee. All right. Aries, rising sun, moon, and stelliums. My little truth-seeking, pioneer, courageous, spiritual warriors. God bless you. I love you. Because this is a time to be a teacher. And I want to offer it this way, because you're not going to teach because you tell people things. You're going to teach through your own perceptions. As you know, Gemini rules children, it rules siblings, but it rules, I say children because I know the fifth house Leo rules children technically, but Gemini rules grammar school children. They're teaching the young children being taught. So this is where I'm going with this. I feel like our opportunity right now is for my Aries to look at their perceptions and to allow themselves to be a little bit brighter, a little bit more hopeful, a little less charging through in this sort of warrior in a challenging way and in a lighter way. It's time to go in a new direction because we are being led, I'm an Aries rising, towards the answers to our prayers, through our dreams and our intuitions, and we're being protected in a way that, I want to put it this way, this very much feels like emotional protection. Here's Xana. And the protection comes in the form of now it's time for you to receive. Mars wants to go out, out, out. I'm going to take action. I'm going to make things happen. But now is a time to receive, to look at your perceptions and to see if there is the potential that, in the pushing forward, you've actually been blocking some of your perceptions or some of your manifestations because your perception, this is kind of where I'm going with this. If Aries thinks I need to take action in every moment, it's time for Aries to start to think when I take a pause, that is an action. It's an action of reception. And that's where this is right here. Because in the final position, we have peace, and then we have our being energy. And that's what we're here to learn, or what we're here to experience is Aries. Your being energy will bring you peace, and it will bring you a much more lighter energy, much more fun. I want to put it this way. If you think about Aries and you think about being ruled by Mars, being restricted for the last year is not Aries' best place. It's like, are you kidding me? You're trying to tell me to sit here on my thumbs and not make things happen. And yet at the same time, it's given an opportunity for Aries to really decide what's important to them. What do I want to take action on? What am I willing to go to war for? And what am I not anymore? And how do I go to war? Am I truly powerful when I'm pushy, when I'm blunt? Or am I more powerful when I take a moment to give what I want to receive, to listen. Because that's where I think the Queen is coming in the angel's advice and the protection. It's a receptive energy. It's a calm energy. It's a fair energy. And it's also going in a bit of a different direction. It's never about Aries giving up their power. It's never about being diminished in any way. It's more about looking to see how that power is landing on others and if that is truly serving you. When I was in 6th grade, my storytelling, and then I'm going to stop. Maybe it was 5th grade. I had this teacher, and I think it was Mr. Sutton. I don't know. I could have it wrong, but that was a long time ago. But there was certain kids that got to be teacher for a day, and I got up to be teacher for a day, and the whole class was just freaking chaos. And I yelled at everybody, and I got them to be quiet, but did I get them to learn? And that's what I learned that day, is that my teacher showed me, I got my lesson plan out, I got everything I needed to do done, but did I teach? And the answer was probably not, because I was too overpowering. So this is what I think is going on for Aries. A lighter touch, a more fun touch, a more, here's an opportunity versus an obstacle, because you're learning to go in a new direction in order to truly stand in the leadership and the Queen and receive what you want. And the peace and the victory and the joy and the fruits of your individual courage come into play here. All right, that's what we're going to do. That's it for this week. What a challenging full moon it has been for our teammates here, our Gemini teammates. I say Gemini because we're going into that Mars in Gemini, and my two, my right and my left hand were both tied this week in ways that aren't easy for either one of them. So as we send love to both Juan and Small Wildflowers, I appreciate it. I appreciate your help this week with the timestamps, your patience with me as I interrupt myself over and over again. And as usual, I'll be back next week at 11 a.m. Pacific time with more messages from your angels. The angels are here to help you traverse these transits, to live your best life and to feel proactive and powerful within that. So thank you so much. Thank you to those that are new here. I hope you'll come back. Please subscribe, please like, please share. And if you would like to book a personal reading with me, you'll find me on Lada's website. I'll put the link below in the description. Thank you so much. See y'all next week. Peace out. I'm hungry.